Hello again. It is Thursday. It's about 8 o'clock at night. Market closed a few hours ago. This is GRLF. Here's what I kind of see it doing, just being realistic. Okay, so I likely see it going back down and hitting its moving average, simple moving average, which is 0.0013. Now I bought in for 10,000 at 0.0020, 0.0020, and when that thing hits 0.0013, I'll have $6,300 worth of stock at that point. But I knew that was a possibility when I entered at the price I entered. But when I did enter, it was, the charts and all that were looking a lot different. I'll tell you that much. It was a couple days ago, and it was one of those that could have gone either way. The shorts kind of escaped that one and covered the next day. It dipped a lot. I lost, I bought in that morning at 0.20, and by the time market closed, it was 0.16. I was already down like $3,000 or something like that. So I was like, I don't care at this point. But at that point when I bought in, it could have squeezed up too. So I knew that I might be riding a loser for a little bit. I think that's a big part of trading. I think people should practice that, is worst case scenarios, because they do help you cope. Not that there's anything to cope with, really. I mean, I'm not worried about this stock. But here the RSI. RSI could go either way. You see it bouncing around January, all the way through January. It just kept bouncing off the top line. And looks like it could have done that forever. And who knows, it could have done that forever. But people consolidated, and I don't blame them. They were up like, who knows, 1,000%, 1,200% at that point. Probably higher. Anyway, we go down to the stotch. The stotch is at a point to where it's actually dipped down from the last technical presentation I did, but it's actually hit that trigger line, and this is a full stotch indicator right here that I'm showing you. So that trigger line does mean something. The actual stotch line, the jagged one, which is the real one based on price, has more reaction to that line. It acts more like a moving average. Down below, which I didn't show, is the TTMS histogram. It's still showing squeeze, and it's actually still showing momentum is rising. That's why I said I just considered the worst case scenario. This is where my dollars are probably going to end up if this continues in the direction it's going and doesn't reverse. I'm going to be down at 0.0013. I do see it bouncing off that, maybe dipping a bit below it before it goes back above it again. But tomorrow's a weird day. It could go up, because I was, and I'm sorry if you're on Stock Twits. Yeah, that's me. I post too much a lot. But I was following the level 2, and the 10 million shares that we're trying to cover at 0.0016, those didn't cover. And then it became like 20 million. So I was like, whoa, more are trying to cover. And then I couldn't tell. It almost looked like half of those got covered. Half of those bought back in last hour of trading. And then there was a single short trying to make more money. He was wanting to buy back in for 0.0015. He never even got close to covering today. Those were just a few shorts I was seeing that were trying to cover the range we're in. And I think those guys are smart that are trying to cover right now. The rest of them that are waiting for even lower numbers to cover, they might get squeezed if this fucker reverses. Excuse the language, but this ain't for kids anyway. There's a lot of shorts left. I'm telling you, I've been watching open interest. I've been doing the calculations and the estimations of how many have been covering. As you can see, I've been keeping a pretty close eye on it because this is a covering game at this point. There's 200 of us investors, give or take. That's another estimation. The last real number was 130. But that was a couple months ago. And we've grown in market cap since then. So there's got to be, I figure there's probably 60 more, 180 to 200 of us. I have money being transferred over. I have 300 and something, 330 that I transferred today. And I have another 1,500 that I'm going to wire tomorrow. So I'm going to be, when you wire money, you could buy OTC with it right away. Even though my brokers grant me money right when I transfer, the only way to get it right then is with OTC through TD. Even though they grant me as much as I want for regular stocks, for options and for these OTCs, if you wire the money, you can do it right then as soon as the wire hits. And I'll be doing the wire tomorrow. I'll be adding another 1.5 million shares. It ought to do pretty good for the stock price. That's pretty good, just straight buy volume. And I'll be slapping the ask. I won't be bottom feeding and hanging it out there like an idiot. So when somebody just slaps the ass with that many, it helps out. Hopefully it can get the momentum going in the right direction. It can help out a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to be a game changer, but it'll help. All right. See you again someday. Bye-bye.